Everyone, Happy New Year. In between shuttling kids back and forth, I wanted to come on very quickly and say Happy New Year. Um, it occurs to me that we've heard a lot about what this year is going to bring, and much of it is talking about consciousness raising of the world, and I agree. Um, I've never been one to make resolutions. Um, Other than trying not to feel so hungover on the 1st of January for most years. And in the past several years now, I don't even go out, sad as it is, although I had some very good champagne this year. But anyway, um, what I'm hoping for 2010 is an awareness and a learning about self for the world. Not only about themselves, but the world around them. I've kind of been straddling two camps on YouTube. I began a few years ago with a desire to learn more about our government and politics, which up until then I hadn't concentrated on at all. I wasn't interested in it. And I learned about Ron Paul and felt that I had found somebody that I was interested enough in to learn more. And I did. And it was an eye-opener. What I learned was tough to take. So probably in about the summer of 2008, I went through a tough time. I have learned enough about our government and what goes on here, all the things that are kept from us. My family jokingly calls me a conspiracy theorist. I just prefer to think of it as weird. But it affected me enough so that I began to look for some relief. And I found that in the spiritual side. And there again, YouTube was full of information for me. I began to meditate again, which I hadn't done in years, since before my kids were born. And I do that daily, even if it's very late at night sometimes. And being a type A personality, that's been very, very good for me. But I also have been learning more about Buddhism and Hinduism, uh, and various channels that teach you about those things. I refer to myself as a Christian Buddhist, an oxymoron at best, because if you asked me in all honesty if I knew there was a God, I would have to tell you, no, I don't know. All I know is what I feel, and I feel that there is a creative source of energy in this world. I think we tend to anthropomorphize that. I know I do. Um, but I've learned more to go with what I feel in my heart, and respect others who also go with what they feel as well and what they've learned. I subscribe to all different channels, uh, from atheism to Buddhism to Christian, um, and take something away from each of those. So I'm very grateful for that, because that provided a lot of solace for me and kind of brought me out of the funk that I had been experiencing that summer, not being able to reconcile all of the information that I had taken in about what's going on in that country and around the world. And it occurred to me that I straddle two very different worlds, one in the truth movement and the spiritual side of YouTube. Because when I would bring up topics that I think everybody should know about that were occurring in our country and around our world, I was met with several responses of, why are you pouring your energy into that? Why are you increasing that which you see by giving your energy to it. And I disagree with that. I do agree with the law of attraction. I do agree with the fact that like brings like, that what you focus on begins to become your reality. The cynical side of me would put that in a way of you see what you look for. And you can see it in people that you watch. If they're going to be looking for the negative, that's what they're going to see. If they're looking at the rosy colored picture and that's all they're going to see, that's all they're going to see. So YouTube really helps bring a balance to that. And I think it's important to be aware of what we see so that we can be an implement of the change for that. And that's what I see in 2010. I see it as being a wonderful thing. I see people taking responsibility for themselves, not in a surface way, not in a follow me on Twitter way, which I don't get at all. If you could explain Twitter to me and the reason behind it, by all means, because I don't get it. But what I wanted to read to you a paragraph in, of all things, a Gary Zukav book, The Heart of the Soul. I know he's all touchy-feely, but bear with me because he has a good paragraph in here. He says, every circumstance is a gift. The friend who assists you, the neighbor who deceives you, the stranger who smiles, kind people and brutal people, individuals who meet your expectations and individuals who do not, all provide you with opportunities to explore yourself, discover more about yourself, and change yourself. The issue is never about another individual. It is always about you. And I think that's what we're learning. Not about what we look like, not about what we dress like, or how we interact with the material world, but about who we are and the power of what we can do. And I believe that that's what 2010 is bringing awareness of. And it's only been through these heinous situations that we've learned about and that have become widely known that this is possible. So I do believe that good inevitably can come out of bad. That's a worldview I have that's allowed me to know the truths and not be bogged down by them all the time. So the last thing I'd like to read to you is a quote from Carlos Castaneda's book, The Art of Dreaming. And there's a section in the book where Don Juan is talking to Carlos Castaneda, and he says, most of our energy goes into upholding our own importance. If we were capable of losing some of that importance, two extraordinary things would happen to us. One, we would free our energy from trying to maintain the illusory idea of our grandeur. And two, we would provide ourselves with enough energy to catch a glimpse of the actual grandeur of the universe. And that, to me, is how we are moving as a collective group, as a world. And that's what's allowed me to go on and be somewhat positive. Actually, I'm very positive. And I owe a lot of that to this crazy world of YouTube. So the fact that somebody may be shutting down free speech or tracking terrorists on here is ludicrous. And that's something worth watching. And watch we will. Okay, sweetie. Time's up. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.